Welcome to another episode of the magazine. Today we're here with Cam Langlois, who owns a new store here in Fairhaven. So welcome to the show, Cam.
Thank you, Charlie. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. So how did this all begin?
So this all began about 10, 11 years now when I was a senior in high school. I started collecting Air Jordans mainly through the influence of my brother, Ethan. He got me into it. He was collecting sneakers at the time, and it was becoming a popular thing. I bought my first pair, I'd say, when I was 17, and it was a pair of Air Jordan 11s called the Bread 11s. That was my first ever pair of Jordans. From there, it just became more of a hobby for me where I started buying, collecting, trading, and selling them all. I ended up growing my collection from one pair up to probably almost 200 over the course of like 5 years, you know, through buying them, trading them, selling them. What ended up growing my collection and giving me the interest in this business was I was seeing people when they wanted to sell their collections because they needed money, they would want to just sell them outright for less than the shoes were worth. And I ended up buying a big bundle of about 20 that were my size. And I didn't really buy them with the intention to like sell them. But I ended up getting all of them, and I was like, you know, I'm not really ever going to wear all these. And then some of my friends who were my size were like, well, would you want to sell me one? So I ended up selling off a couple of them, and I ended up making my money back and ended up getting to keep like 4 or 5 of them at no cost. And that's when I was like, you know, I can build my collection for free, essentially doing that. So I started reselling sneakers. It was more of a side hobby. At the time, I was working full-time here, there, everywhere. But I ended up doing it online through a couple different platforms. At the time, the big one was called Kixify, which it was an online place similar to like StockX and GOAT, which anybody who follows sneakers knows about those apps.
Okay.
And I also moved on to eBay, which is a big platform as well. After a while of doing that, I kind of fell off with the hobby a little bit. I focused more on being a personal trainer and doing dietary because that was what my main career path was at the time. And this was always the side hustle. But I ended up bringing back this passion, and I went pretty hard with it through Facebook selling, you know, online, dealing with a lot of people from a local group known as the 508 Sneakerheads.
Okay.
It's been around for about 10 years as well, and it's got about 20,000 members on it, all people who like to buy, sell, and trade sneakers. So I ended up getting really back into it end of 2019, right before COVID.
Sure.
And COVID just blew this business out of proportion. Like, people were buying sneakers left and right. You know, I was traveling, doing conventions until they stopped because of the COVID lockdown. But I was able to get the money together and get enough inventory to open up my store in the South End, which was my first location inside Kilburn Mills.
And that when you publicized the name, is that when?
That's when I first created the 508 Sneakerstore. That was the first location for it. It was named after the group, the 508 Sneakerheads, which is a group that I help run. So that was my first little store. And it was a great store. I needed a startup. I had never owned a business before. So I started there. You know, at first it was a process of getting it going, and obviously it wasn't, you know, as appealing as my current store was, but I made it work. People came and supported me, and it just became something that kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. While I was there, I actually won an award through eBay
Great.
for selling over 1,000 sneakers in 1 year, which is a pretty big accomplishment for eBay. I also am a top-rated seller on StockX and GOAT, which are 2 other of the well-known sneaker apps, you could say. I was in there for about 2 years. I was really quickly outgrowing it. I started looking for spaces, couldn't find anything. Lo and behold, out of nowhere, Brian, the owner of the pharmacy, who I have done sneaker deals with, reached out to me, and he was like, you know, I have this spot. I'd be interested in putting your business into it. So I came and I looked at it. He told me what he could make it into, and I seen it, and I was like, you know what, all right, it's time to move on. So we moved over here to Fairhaven to a bigger location. and now I have way more space, and that move really changed my life, honestly.
Okay.
This is my hometown, obviously. This is where I grew up, so it was great being here, but the grand opening was insane. I had over 200 sales that day. I had hundreds of people come up. My post got shared 600 times, actually, and almost 100,000 people seen the post. And that day was just crazy for me, you know. It really changed my life, and the store has done a lot, and the customers and the people that come in have made a big difference, and the town has just taken to it greatly, you know. It's everybody comes in, they all like it. The kids, ages 5 all the way to 40-year-old men, you know, like sneakers are for everybody right now. That's just the culture. Girls, it doesn't matter. And that pretty much puts us where we are today. You know, this is my store now, so.
That's great. And you had mentioned that you first started this by finding sneakers your size 11.
I did, yeah.
Do you have plenty of inventories? Like if someone has a size bigger than 11?
Yeah. So at first, like you said, I was pretty much just reselling my own size because I wasn't buying all kinds of sizes. It was just stuff that I would buy for myself, which I was buying 10.5 to like 11.5 because I can make it diverse if it's a little bit bigger or smaller. But when I knew I was opening a store, I slowly was starting to get a lot of just all size stuff, mainly just men's. Then I moved into the girls and the kids sizes. And then I moved here, and now I started carrying, you know, even toddler size sneakers. And now I have pretty much everything for babies all the way up to whatever age, you know. The biggest size we carry is 14. And then the smallest size is like around a 4 toddler, which is for like a newborn baby almost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
So I have pretty much everything here.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
So, well, I'm glad you're in Fairhaven.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that you're a part of our community, because you're a community that you graduated from Fairhaven High, so you're a hometown, and starting a business in your own town. So, what you talked about your brother inspiring you.
I did.
Any other inspirations along the way here?
Definitely that shoe group, you know, like that shoe group helped me out a lot. I definitely don't even think I'd be here without it, just because that was my access to a ton of people that had stuff for sale. You know, without that, I wouldn't have made, you know, even half the connections I've made today. Like, that group was super important, and I would never have even gotten into sneakers if my brother didn't show me and entice me to start collecting them. So I owe, you know, both those, my brother and that group, a lot of credit for this.
Of course. Yeah.
And I would just say that's it. You know?
Yeah. So what are your hours of operation here?
We're open 2 to 6 during the week, and then 12 to 5 on the weekends. I'm open 7 days a week.
7 days a week?
Yeah, it's not long hours, so I can make it work, but I try and give everybody a chance to get here at some point each day, you know. I pretty much am working every day. I try and get coverage for one day if I can take a day off, but when you own your business, you're dedicated, you know what I'm saying? You know you have to put that work in if you want to get the results, so that's what I'm here to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's the best number if someone to call and ask a question about a shoe, sneaker, or something?
All right, so we don't do a phone here just because by myself it'd be a lot for me to run with that. Yeah. So I use Facebook and I use Instagram messaging just because I can answer it at my own will when I have downtime and I'm not dealing with a line of customers. Then I have the phone ringing.
That's smart.
Yeah. So for that, on Facebook, the page is just the 508 Sneakerstore if you look it up.
Okay.
And then it's the same for the Instagram at the 508 Sneakerstore. And anybody, it's all public. Anybody can message me and I will see it. It might not be within an hour, it might be a couple hours, but I will get back to you. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's great.
Yep.
So you're nice success, great success story. What's next? What's for the future?
So going back to my roots of originally being a personal trainer and doing dietary, I'm actually going to be opening up a gym in New Bedford from sometime between April and May. We signed the lease earlier last week.
Oh, great.
I'm going to be doing it with my friend Jared Antle. He's a personal trainer. He's been doing it for about 10 years himself. Okay. And that'll be me expanding my business into different pathways. It's called 508 Performance, Strength, and Conditioning. Okay. So we're taking the 508 name and just adding it onto the gym setting.
I like it. That's great.
Yeah. But as also, too, I definitely do have plans to open a second store for shoes eventually, too, just because I'm already outgrowing this location. As you can see, this place is stuffed. There's shoes everywhere. So that's another thing I've always wanted to do way in the future, is open up a 508 sneaker store, a second one, maybe further away, so that the people who follow me from like Boston have somewhere closer that they can go to rather than driving over an hour to come see me here.
Okay.
So.
And what would you say your biggest trend is right now? Like, what are people looking for?
Definitely Air Jordan 4s. Air Jordan 4s are the most popular Jordan right now. Panda Dunks and Dunk Lows are up there as well. And believe it or not, even Kanye West Yeezys are very popular too, especially the sandals and the foam runners. Those are just all popular right now, and that's what I sell the most of. So.
And you have plenty in stock. Or you
I
get
do
it for
right
people.
now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
So people that are watching, they hearing all those top names, they're going to come by here.
Correct. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to thank you for everything you're doing for our community and for being a part of this great community. And I wish you the best of luck. And it looks like you've got a lot of ambition and a lot of great success ahead of you.
Thank you, Charlie. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it, and I thank you for coming and doing this at my store.
Thanks, Cam. And we can't wait to see you in your gym, and then we'll do another story then.
That sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Cam. We're back to the magazine now with our next segment with Melissa Gagne. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
Pleasure.
So, Melissa, tell us something about yourself and where you grew up here and some of your loves for the community.
So I've lived here my whole life and grew up in the Fairhaven, New Bedford area, and it's just a special community to me. I kind of, inside and out, I'm very much of our small community that we have here, and I'm very proud of it and very happy to be a part of it. And I've just always felt that way, even at a younger age, when it's weird and you don't.
Right. Well, we're very happy that you're a part of our community.
Thank you.
So how did you get into real estate?
It's something that I wanted to do years before I started to do it. And it was, one of those things that you put off. And it was always something that I enjoyed. I always enjoyed real estate in general. I always enjoyed, first and foremost, I like to help people no matter what I'm doing in life, personally, professionally. And so I always thought hand in hand to be able to help somebody with, finding one of the biggest things that they're going to do in life is buy or sell their home or whatever it may be with real estate, help them with their investments and things like that. I just thought it would be really, really cool. And I said, you know what, I finally have to take a go at this and see where it takes me. And I am so glad that I did.
I think some of your training also has helped people because they say that buying a house is the most stressful thing you can do.
For sure. Yeah. For my background, before I was in real estate, I was in the restaurant industry my whole life. So I always joke around, but mean it wholeheartedly that industry prepared me for a lot of the things that you go through with real estate. It's obviously on a different level, but the stress of different things and, trying to understand people and how everybody's different and everybody has different ways of handling things and communicating and whatnot maybe. So I really think that helped, being in the service industry my entire life kind of helps where you can, relate to everybody and just really try to genuinely be there as much as you can for them as they go through the process, because I'm a firm believer from day one that makes all the difference in the world.
Sure. I'm sure people are very nervous, especially the first time homeowners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest things you'll ever do. And of course, everybody wants to make sure that they can afford it, first of all, and that, that they are picking the right house or, that they're making the right decision, the right timing. And there's just so many things involved. A lot of people are starting out, getting ready to either start their family or they're downsizing and, they're saying goodbye to memories from their whole lives of watching their kids grow up at that dinner table. And there's just so many different aspects of emotions and stress, of course, that comes along with it that, I always am very grateful to be a part of, that process, because there are, let's face it, a ton of us out there. So the fact that anybody, single-handedly comes to me and says, hey, we want you to help us, I don't take that for granted for 1 second.
Well, you're very humble, but there are a lot of real estate agents out there. But you're probably one of the best, and according to a lot of awards that you've achieved. And tell us something about some of the awards, because people don't realize that it's really hard to be a real estate agent.
It is.
Especially when, it's hard to find houses.
Yes, it is.
Especially in this market.
For sure. We've been in a low inventory, and then of course COVID happened and the inventory got even lower, so it brought it to a whole nother level. But the, real estate I love my job. I love what I do. I love the everyday people that I get to meet. And, there's different things that come along with it. I'm working when everybody else is not working. So,
Right.
Big kudos to my friends who put up with me for always being the one at work while everybody's getting together. But, it comes with the territory of the job, and it's what we sign up for. So.
And didn't you win South Coast Best?
Did 2 years in a row. It still is it's also surreal. But I ended up winning it 2 years in a row, first place on both. And it was just such a cool experience. The second year, of course, by the time they did the award show, we were already in COVID. Right. So it was all virtual. So that was very different. Yeah. But the first year was awesome because they put on a really nice dinner, and it was a really, really cool thing. And, you get to see your colleagues and just other people with businesses out there that you get to support. And it's a very positive experience. And it was really amazing to, I didn't know I was in the running for it. And the next thing you know, I ran into people and they said, "Oh, we voted for you." And I'm like, "Voted for me for what?" and then next thing you know, I was in the top 5, and then it was the top 3, and then I won first place. And and then the second year comes around, I said, "Oh, that's not going to happen again." And then I won. It was amazing. It was really, really cool.
Well, that's great. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Quite an achievement.
I couldn't do it without our community and with my clients and the people that trust me. That's what got me all of that. So I thank you and everybody around that supports me.
Absolutely. So you mentioned the pandemic. How has the pandemic affected real estate?
So it's been very interesting, like anything else with any other, everybody trying to learn the new way, us included, because really who had been through that, before. And so myself and our office, we were very hands-on with trying to be the most respectful of our clients as possible, and while trying to still get their real estate needs done, because there are circumstances where you still had to sell, or you had to buy, you needed a place to live. So it was very different with just making sure the amount of people, of course, in a house, and doing open houses were just not a thing for a good year and a half. And so what would happen instead was to do a showing on one of your listings, you end up being there for one day for 4, 5, 6 hours, because you're trying to do one person at a time, in and out. You're trying to, wipe down door handles, or we started calling them museum style showings, where, we would only be the ones opening the doors, so that way when the people were coming home that lived there weren't germs, or you tried to stop spread as much as you possible, especially in the beginning, because we knew so little about it. Right. So we were extremely extra with things that we realized obviously down the road were not necessary, but it was better to be safe than sorry. So it's been wild, and then of course it took our low inventory that we were already in and just put it into something that I still have no words for. It was such a super low inventory that to say it was a seller's market wouldn't do it justice, because it was buyers out there all going for what seemed to be the same house. And it's tough, and it's a little heartbreaking, because you want everybody to get that house, and obviously there's only that one house that they're all going after. And so but we got through it, and now inventory is starting to come up, so it's super exciting. And good. More than ever, you get excited. We were a little bit later this year because everybody was still, a lot of people were still hesitant. But post 4th of July has been really good so far. So I'm super excited to hopefully keep that coming, so we can try to help, because I know not only my clients, but I see people from doing showings at the listings that I've been seeing for the last year and a half coming through, and it's tough, and you want, everybody to figure out what they're going to do. This is people's homes we're talking about. It's not, going out for a piece of cake. Right. So it's, I'm excited to be able to bring more listings out there for people to buy. So excellent.
So during the pandemic, you were very busy.
Yes.
Selling houses and doing all that.
Last year was a whirlwind. I don't think I had a life, but business was great.
And it was, and good, and you're very good at what you do.
Thank you.
But I also know that you are also very involved with service during the pandemic.
Yes, absolutely. I felt a need, I always have, but I felt a need more than ever to be where my career is at right now and then was something that's always been very special to me and giving back and making sure. And then more than ever, I would see people who, elderly who couldn't leave their homes or, whatever it may be. And I thought, you know what, we are busy right now and in a world that who knows what's going on. I still can't understand why real estate went crazy, on a pandemic when you almost would think in the beginning that it would be the opposite. So we had put together quite a few, a couple of food drives to try to get food out to the community and very involved with, MO Life Food Pantry, of course. So, doing that and opening. And it was really hard to get people to help us, as you are very aware of, because it's understandably so. People don't want to put themselves at risk, for their own family's sake, for whatever the reason may be. And I totally get that. But I figured I'm out there anyway and working and I'm, trying to be very careful out there. And so we have a duty to our community. And so, between the food pantry and food drives, we tried to make sure that people had food and that nobody was at home trying to figure out where they were going to get their next meal or, when there was a toilet paper shortage. We were lucky enough to go through a few different channels and we worked with the Fairhaven Council on Aging and we did, we actually worked right from here from the Fairhaven office and we had, they came and picked us up in the buses that they picked them up in and we went and dropped off bags of things with toilet paper to deodorant to paper towels, canned goods, of course, that won't, expire for a while. So that way, just in case. And it's just something that I felt that we absolutely should and needed to do. And yeah, so it was.
So I know that you're a part of the Fairhaven Rotary Club.
Yes.
And I know that when the call went out for the food pantry, the Greater Boston Food Bank,
yes,
we had shut down at the MLA Food Pantry. We shut down for the 2 weeks in March because we had all thought that it was going to be over 2 weeks.
Yes.
Back then. And then when we got that call, Ivan reached out to the Fairhaven Rotary Club, Ivan Brito, who was a member of
He's
the
a
Fairhaven
rock star.
Yes, he's a great guy. And so he reached out to the Fairhaven Rotary Club, and 3 members of the Fairhaven Rotary Club came forward because everyone else were either scared,
Yes.
Had family members that couldn't be out in the public, so they supported us in different ways.
Yeah.
But that first week of April,
That was wild.
when we reopened the food
Yeah.
bank, and it was you, me, and Ivan,
That was wild.
we didn't know what to expect.
No. And there were people, a lot of them.
There were a lot of people.
And people were so grateful, grateful. And we were there were so many people coming in and out that you didn't really get time to chat with people, but the stories that people would tell us as we're handing them bags, you just couldn't help but know right then and there, we're here and we had to be here and it's a good thing we're here. And it was kind of, one of those things that we're very grateful and proud to be a part of. And, I'm lucky to be surrounded by good people that do these things so I can be a part of it, and that's half the battle. So I think it was really cool what we did. And it was something special that I definitely will remember for stories to come for years,
We got plenty of exercise during that time
Yes,
period,
I
too.
keep on wondering why I'm not skinny yet, but there's that too.
Running up and down the stairs.
Running up and down the stairs and then the cold to the heat.
Yeah, it's the cold to the heat.
That wasn't fun.
No.
Because then you're cold, but you end up hot.
But you managed to, through your support and service, to feed over 500 people a month.
It was pretty impressive. And we even did some deliveries.
Yes, we did. We did some deliveries.
It's like you have a hard time saying no when certain people, when people call and say, hey, we have no way of getting there, you kind of, how do you say no? You have a vehicle. Okay. Right. And, it's tough because you're trying to also, take care of your own business and everything going on. And so it was really nice because we all binded together to really help each other and make it all work.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was a really good happy medium that, we're all taking care of each other while still trying to get everything done for our clients,
Well, service is definitely a part of you. And we mentioned the Fairhaven Rotary Club. Why did you join the Fairhaven Rotary Club?
Service has always been just a part of me. It's something that has, been instilled in me as a child and brought up that way, but it also was something that naturally just came, where I feel that's what we're put on this world to do, and to help each other, and that's what the world is supposed to go around with, right? We hope. And so the Fairhaven Rotary Club, I had always known, since you're a kid, you hear about it, and you just always looked up to the people in it. And when I was asked if I would join it, I was completely honored, and thought, well, I guess that's awesome. I don't know, you kind of feel like, hey, I made it in life. But it was really cool, and I've met, knew most of the people through the community, but met some really cool people through it. And I feel like, we all hands-on really come together and do different things to help. But the biggest reason is, community and serving your community. And it's so much of the fact that everybody on the Rotary Club is, they make me want to do more, because everybody on it does so much. It makes you feel like you need to do even more. Mm-hmm. And that's a beautiful thing to have, the right people are surrounding you that makes you want to do even more and do even better, Excellent. And so, yeah, it's been a really, really cool, very cool experience.
So we're here in your Fairhaven office.
Yes.
So do you have other offices?
So yes, so this is RE/MAX Vantage in Fairhaven. This is where you can find me. But we do have our other office, and it's our bigger, newer office is in Dartmouth. We're both conveniently located right off of Route 6. So we're Route 6 Fairhaven, Route 6 Dartmouth, which is great. And we have over 60 agents at this point now, and it's been really awesome. We all, it's a very similar thing, we all come together to help each other when in need, and when we were doing with the Rotary Club and things like that, and anything that came through, I always joke around saying, okay, sorry guys, I have another thing that I want to do, and I figure eventually they're going to get tired of me. But every time I do it, everybody's like, okay, what do you need? Let's do this. Let's bind together. And it's been a really special thing that is something that I'm very proud to be a part of. So
Melissa, how can someone get in touch with you?
So my cell phone number, I have my cell phone on me pretty much all the time. You can come and visit us here right at RE/MAX in Fairhaven Vantage. You can call me on my cell phone. You can email me. Social media, we know, is huge these days. So get a lot of messages from social media and whatnot. But I'm always available. I always say that text me on my cell phone is the quickest way to get a hold of me, because as you're going throughout the day, it's a good way to go.
That's excellent. So the future is bright, Melissa.
I hope so. It's been very cool. Since I've been with RE/MAX, I just actually made the top 40 under 40 for with RE/MAX,
awesome.
So that was really cool. So I just keep on hoping it keeps on going.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, you're a great part of our community. We're very blessed to have you in our community.
Thank you. I'm proud to know you.
I just want to say thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
All you do in front of the scenes and behind the scenes.
Thank you very much. It's very special. I'm honored to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Melissa.
Take care.
You too.